Hello, everybody, and welcome to Giant Mess, a super sloppy sports and entertainment talk show that covers Giants football, Mets baseball, movies, and TV shows. It's got a little comedy and life lessons mixed in for good measure. It's hosted by Giant Mess. That's me, the Real Cinch Neal Lynch. I'm a former college quarterback and pitcher who's turned into quite the overthinker and one hell of a stinker. I'm going to talk about my daughter's first ever trip to Tumbles. If you're not familiar with Tumbles, it's a little gymnastics type course class for the youngins. The cow parade, a parade of cows. That happened. Talk about that. And then maybe a little rendezvous at a place called Jasper Stone Italian Steakhouse in Monroe. So with that, let's get started up in here. I had my daughter from Wednesday through Sunday. And these 5-day stretches can test the limits of my patience, my understanding, my grace, my mercy. It really does. It takes a village, but I don't have a village. So I gotta rely on what little parenting knowledge I have. First challenge of the 5-day stretch was Wednesday when I picked her up from school, and I was so happy to see her. It was all hugs and kisses, and it's like we've been reunited after I got deployed for several years. Not the case, but it felt that way. It feels that way every time I pick her up after I've been away from her for 5 days. And she was a little loopy, and I was like, okay. I've dealt with this before, and this happens. Like kindergarten, she's in kindergarten. She doesn't get the naps that she got in pre-K, right? The naps are out the door. So she's napless. And so I just attributed it to that. We go to Trader Joe's, we do our grocery shopping like we always do, and she's just like all over the place. Loopy, goofy, silly. Just goofball central. Come home, unpack her backpack, which I need to do more of. There are a lot of times where I don't even touch her backpack or look in her backpack. Need to start doing that more. For show. Because there's a lot of stuff in there that can give me some clues and some hints as to what actually happened during the day. And also some important information that probably I need to be privy to. Took out her lunch bag, opened her lunch bag. I did not pack her lunch, obviously. Her mother packed her lunch and sent her off to school that morning. Nothing was touched. Nothing was opened. It was all intact as it was packed. And I kind of freaked out. I was like, oh my God, you're like operating on zero food. You haven't had food in forever. This is why you loopy. And so I kind of got a little upset at her, tried to control, I've had my issues with self-control, specifically in the anger/rage department. Managing that, you would have thought after seeing Anger Management with Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson, I would have had this hammered down by now. Control your anger and work through it. Now, I didn't blow up at her, but I was like, you didn't touch your food? You didn't open any of your food? Why didn't you eat your food? And then I go into this mode where I just like fucking just annihilate her with questions and don't let her answer. And that's not how you're supposed to parent. That's not good parenting right there. So might be, but you live and you learn. And but eventually we got to a point where she does, like I've said in the past, like I'll ask her questions and she kind of does the same thing that her mother would do when I asked her mother questions, where she just like get kind of choked up and not answer and just kind of get in all up in her feels. And so I'm trying to help her work through those emotions and give me some kind of heads up, some kind of understanding as to why she's acting, behaving. Like, is she just not, in the past when I ask her, hey, why didn't you eat your lunch? You didn't even touch your lunch. At least she would like have a bite or two of something. It's like she had nibbled here and there. And her reply was always, well, I was too slow. Or it was too late. Like I missed something like snack time or whatever. And I'm just like, there's a dedicated period of time called lunch period, where like you go to, I assume, the cafeteria and like you sit down and that's lunch period and you need to eat during that time. What are you doing during that time if you're not eating? And so after a little bit of cajoling on my part, there was, I brought in the little good cop, bad cop interrogation scene. And she told me that, yeah, she just messes around and talks, which is, I mean, that's good. It's good, better than, I guess, just shoveling food into your mouth by yourself all alone in the corner, like some people. Yours truly. But to go and to socialize is great. And I don't want her to not socialize, but I also want to make sure she's getting nutrition, sustenance. So I think and then, the very next day I pick her up and the first words out of her mouth were, "Daddy, I eat all my lunch." And I was like, "That's great. I'm so proud of you." And, the night before, I was saying, here's why it's important to eat. You need to eat food because it's good for your brain. It's good for your body. It gives you energy. You make good decisions. I think once I got to that point, I was doing some pretty decent dadding. I'm not going to lie. But, yeah. So the next day she was like, I think it clicked with her because the next day the first words out of her mouth, "Daddy, I ate all my lunch." And I was like, "I'm so proud of you. That's great. I'm happy. You must feel really good about yourself and the rest of your day." And she's like, I'm going to show you." Like, as if, like, I don't know, there was no indication that I didn't believe her. It was just like, she's like, "I'm going to show you." And so she made me like turn around and look at her lunch bag, and sure enough, it was empty. So I don't know. I think we're on the right path. By the way, still have this cough. What the actual fuck? The cough is annoying. I've had the cough for a couple weeks now. It's just part of my life. I've accepted it. I've accepted Jesus, and I've accepted my cough. So if this weren't a one-man show where I'm not doing literally everything from producing to editing to blah, 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 I'd turn to my producer and be like, "Let's get a cough count going for this episode." And then the producer would turn to the editor, and would say, "Hey, let's have a little cough counter in the top right-hand corner every time he coughs." And then we'll assemble like a compilation that we can put on Reels. But not possible. Don't have the time or the money. We did have our dinner date, our traditional dinner date with Bree. Went to Al John's Pizza, which is in the same kind of mart as the PJ's Pancake House, where we had our Father's Day brunch, where I took her to Zach's Burgers, not my ex's boyfriend's place, not owned by him. Zach's Burger in that same, the urgent care center, the dry cleaners I go to. This place has got everything, and I wish it were closer. But Al John's Pizza, I don't think we've eaten there. We definitely have not eaten there physically in that place before. I might have ordered it once before, but I can't be certain. Pretty much standard status quo. Went in, she got a regular plain cheese slice, and I had a cheesesteak, which was awesome. Top 10, possibly. Not top 5. Top 10. Bread was very nice. Not too hard, not too soft. I prefer softer over hard. I know some people like the crunch, the crisp. I don't mind that, but I actually kind of dig the softness. So I guess the crisp outside, soft inside is like the ideal, and this bread had it. So she had to go potty as per usual. So we go in the bathroom, and I don't know what we need to do. I don't know if it's a petition, a referendum. I know the election day was today, Tuesday, November 7th. I don't know if there was a bill that was on the line. I probably should have got out to the ballots, the booth. I don't know. I just don't vote. And I know I just alienated pretty much all my audience, telling people I don't vote. It's like I might as well say, "Hey, I like to murder puppies." It's kind of my thing. So, oh shit. Now the battery on this is gone down. Come on now. Every time. You'd think I'd learn. You would think, but you'd be wrong. Come on, Neil. You do like hours and hours of preparation, and then you forget one little thing that completely alters and affects how the show goes down. Whew. Are we going to cut this? No, because I ain't got the time to fucking edit. As anyone who's ever listened to this show knows, I don't edit. And of course, I just knocked over the garbage, and there's garbage everywhere. Why not? All right, let's plug in this bad boy. Get in there. Yeah. All right. So now we're charged, completely charged. Yeah, there we go. You can hear it. So I don't know what's up with these restaurant bathrooms, but they are fucking atrocious. Like, come on now. And, yeah, we talked, we talked about Chuck Spring Street Cafe where it had that sign where it was like, please don't flush toilet paper. Like, what are we doing? And it stunk out loud, literally, figuratively, metaphorically. Aljon's Pizza, the lights were just out. It did not work in the bathroom. So they had candles everywhere. And I'm like, this is a recipe for disaster. I can just feel and sense that, she's going to go reach for the toilet paper, or she's going to, do some kind of powerful gesture with the hands and knock over the candle. And then she's on fire, and then the thing's on fire, and then I get sued. And it's like, okay. Snowball much? Yeah, dude. All the time. So, but no, it was a good time. Apparently, I think the owner must be like a Wisconsin guy, or he's loves the Big Ten because he was just exclusively airing and streaming Big Ten Network on all the TVs. So I got to watch some women's volleyball, Ohio State versus Minnesota, maybe. And I think Bree might get into volleyball. I don't know. I want her to get into sport. I think that would be great, but. She's already said that she's like, would you be upset if I don't play sports? And I'm like, no, a little part of me died inside, but I wouldn't be that upset. And then we got the customary big ass chocolate chip cookie from Crumble, which has got to be the highlight of her. Well, it's not her week because I don't think her mom takes her there to get it. Maybe she does. But every other week, getting that big ass cookie from Crumble, which she doesn't eat the entire thing in one sitting, which is, thank God. That would be a little worrisome if that were the case. But man, their cookies are good. Crumble, Crumbl, no E. It feels like I think they have a reward system, and I should be rewarded at this point. But $5 for a cookie better be good, and damn right it's good. It's worth the $5. So she often eats like a quarter to a half of it, and then will try to sneak the rest of it at breakfast the next morning. What are you doing? So I need to be on guard. I need to be on watch for that. So it was Friday, and then Saturday morning woke up and took her to Tumbles. So Tumbles, something that her mother signed her up for. It's basically a course teaching the kids about gymnastics. A lot of the aerobatics. No, that doesn't sound right at all. Gymnastics. I'll just go with that. So there were only like 1, 2, 3 other kids, 4 kids total. The one kid looked way too young to be there. Had a big old mop of hair. It was 3 chicks, including my daughter. 3 girls and 1 boy. The one boy seemed very young and very small. Had to be like 3, maybe. I don't know. I think the age range was like 3 to 5. I think this little dude was 3, accompanied by his mom, and it was just like Velcroed to her leg the entire time, and like would not participate. And there was so there's an older. I don't know if she's the owner, but there's an older Asian lady. And I cannot put an age on this lady. She could be legitimately 140 years old. Not to stereotype, right? Not to pigeonhole, but them Asians, man, they live long lives, and they can well exceed their age in terms of physicality and health. So, she could have been 60. She could have been 100. I don't know, but she like was fucking moving and like she had all the moves. And then there was a much younger, I want to say college-aged lady who was like working in tandem with the elder Asian lady. The elder Asian lady did not have too firm a grasp on the English language, which is, no big deal. But I do feel that she was also a little more, I don't want to say aggressive or assertive, but intense, like very like hands-on and like, no, hands here, put this here. You got to do this here, put it here. The college age woman was a little more softer, I guess, and a little more laid back. But my daughter loved it. There was another girl there who was, I don't want to say braggadocious, but she kind of had that cool demeanor where it was like, I got this. No, I know what's going on. No, I've done this before, you know? And then there was another girl who was not at all like that. And I think might have been better than the girl who claimed to have prior knowledge and expertise in this. And that girl was, she seemed like, okay, she seems like she could be a gymnast and probably will be a gymnast. She did take a nasty spill after the class. And like, I don't know, I wasn't watching per se. I'm sorry. I'm watching my kid, you know, I know I'm in the vicinity and I need to be more aware, but she took a nasty spill and after the class, but class was an hour. There was some stretching. So I kind of joined in at first with the stretching, even though it is bad how not flexible I am. Stiff as a board. Light as a feather? No, just stiff as a board. Heavy as a friggin' anvil. So I did participate in the stretching portion, and then I kind of, slowly drifted off to the side, and then I slowly made my way without my daughter noticing out to like the pen where the rest of the parents were. And, they do the forward rolls, the backwards rolls, the monkey bars, trampolines, they're climbing. And then they get a little free 10-minute session in the massive jungle gym that has like the slides and whatnot. So, and then not that crazy expensive. So, so far so good. It's only been one trip, but worth it. Pretty cool. And, I think that's something that she can look forward to. So do I foresee her, if I can astro project into the future, becoming a gymnast? Nay. I don't think I just knowing like my DNA, her mother's DNA, I don't know that's going to be in the cards. I could be wrong. Would be cool if I was wrong. But I think for right now, it's just like a fun little thing to do. And so Saturday, we come back after Tumbles, kind of hang out for a little bit. And then I'm thinking she's already like itching and dying to do something else. Like that's the one thing about my daughter is she wants to be very active, which is a good thing, but it's also can be quite intense. And I am literally a bump on a log. Like I'm just a lazy fuck through and through. So like I'm cool with just hanging out on the couch and watching TV and movies all day, which is not healthy. I get it. And she is just like, what's next? What's next? What's next? Like always wants to know what we need to do next. Like we need to do this. Let's do that. Come on, let's do that. So in a way, a good thing, because it gets me off my rump. But at the same time, there's like when you do so many things, it's kind of that's the expectancy moving forward. And I also don't want to set her up for failure or what's backlash, I guess is the word, right? Because it's like some people, maybe that's not their jam. They're not into just constantly doing things nonstop. And I feel like she does. Is that a symptom of ADD, ADHD? I have no idea, dude. At this point, I just assume that she has every malady under the sun, every disorder. It's like she's autistic and dyslexic, and it's just like, yeah, sure, why not? Sign me up for all that. So I was like, wow, she's all over me, and we didn't have the koala crate, unfortunately. And, I don't know that I had a lot of energy. I didn't get great sleep the night before. We'll get to that in a bit. But so I was like, all right, I got to find something else to do. And then eventually my friend turned me on to this cow parade. So the cow parade, which I was not familiar with, takes place at Cherry Grove Farms. And I believe that's in Lawrence, I believe. A lot of farms in the area. That's something that I'm from the area. Like I went to high school in the area, and in high school, we never went to farms. Like if you had asked me back in high school, like, hey, are there any farms in the area? I'd be like, yeah, I think there's like one, maybe. I don't know, possibly. And no, it turns out there's like a shit ton of farms around this area. I just never went in high school. So I just was not familiar. And so now I'm getting familiar. Like there are so many great farms in the area that do a lot for families and provide family fun entertainment. Some a little more upscale, not upscale, but little more comprehensive and sprawling. Others, it's like, well, you tried, and I appreciate that. So Cherry Grove Farms, we got there probably around 2:30ish. I appreciated that they had beer. Now, I know there were some other orchards and farms we went to where you could get wine, I think, or beer, and I just never thought to get it. But it's like, it does help to take a little bit of the edge off. I know that's some straight up alcoholic talk, but like, it does help ease the tension a bit. And I eventually ran into some other parents who for sure agree with me. So, and it's one of the first stops. So they know what they're doing. They're like, welcome parents. Here's your ticket to paradise, get a brew and settle in for some good old family fashion fun. So, there was a local brewery. I want to say, I already forgot the name of it. Come on, Neil. They had a bunch of beers available. I don't think this is the brewing company. I don't think this is it. And I don't even think they're in Mercer County. But I was, surveying, and y'all know me, DOGG. I pick beers based on names or the design of the tap. Like if it's a draft, like if it's cool design on the tap, or if it's cool name, sold. Say less. So one of the names of the beers, which I cannot find online, so my guess is it's exclusive, limited edition, seasonal type shit, is check out these cans. It's a milk stout, which, doesn't exactly, for whatever reason, milk stout doesn't exactly like make the sorority girls cream their panties. It does have a certain ring to it where it's like, I don't know if I want that in my belly, in my gullet. But you throw a little oat before the oat milk stout, and you're like, okay, all right, yeah, that's good. Or oatmeal stout. Sorry, is it oat milk or oatmeal? I don't fucking know, dude. But yeah, it felt a little weird. Like it was manned. This little not booth, not tent, table was manned by like a younger guy and a much older guy. And I'm there with my daughter, and I'm like, yeah, I'll check out these cans. And they're both looking at me, looking at the daughter, looking at me like, is this appropriate? And like the old guy might have been a statue. I don't know if he's real, because he just did not twitch, move, speak. So, but God bless him for making it out. I can only hope. We immediately went to the face painting area. They had a big tent for the face painting area. Not really like crazy intricate. Like it wasn't like, the last time she got her face painted was July 4th weekend of 2022. Yes. And she had like this sweet Bengal tiger stripes, orange, black, and white all over the face, and looked really great. This one, it was like, Brie was like, I want to be a cat. And so the woman like drew literally 3 whiskers on one cheek, 3 whiskers on the other cheek, and a little pink nose. And I'm like looking around for pricing, because it's like nothing's free anymore. Nothing. So I was like, well, what's the catch here? This is going to be like $15 for like, 5 minutes of work. What are we looking at here? And I didn't see any signs. She didn't say anything about a cost or a price. So I was like, wow, this is free. That's pretty sweet of you. So I was like, well, I'll definitely need to tip. And so I found the tip jar. Look at my wallet, and I don't have any small bills. And I know a normal, mature adult would say, hey, could you break a 10? But I was just like, nope, I'm just going to leave the 10. And she was like, I think she let out a little bit of a gasp. She was like, oh, thank you. like, who the fuck is tipping me $10 for that? But I was like, you know what? Support local businesses, local people, support. If you're going to throw your money around, might as well support the community, right? So from there, we went to the Frisbee toss. The line wasn't too long, maybe 2 or 3 deep. There was one. So there was a boy, I assume a brother and a sister, a younger brother, older sister, and a dad who just looked forever pissed, which is probably what I look like. I guess that's what most dads look like, just steamed at all times. It is Saturday. There's a ton of college football on. We're one of like minimal dads at this place. It's mostly mothers. And so the little boy gets up there, and there's 2 workers. There's the guy standing behind, so that they have a big wooden cutout of Cookie Monster. And so where you have to throw the Frisbee is where his mouth is, because that's where it's open. It's almost like the Dr. Pepper challenge during the Sugar Bowl or whatever the hell that bowl is, where they have the two people that don't even fucking throw the ball like a football player. They just chest pass like basketball players, which, yeah, I know, I'm a boomer, whatever. So this little boy gets up there. There's the guy behind the wooden cutout, right? And he's got a Yankees hat on, and he's like very by the book. Whatever rule book this guy got, he is following it to a fucking T. And then he has a coworker who is a little more relaxed and is not, and basically is like, all right, chill out, dude. Like, I think she said that like multiple times in the little amount of time that we were there. So this little boy gets up. You get 6 Frisbees. There's 3 Frisbees. You get 2 rounds. So 6 Frisbee tosses in total. And then if you get it in the mouth, you get a prize. Little did we know, you get a prize regardless. Maybe you get a bigger prize if you get it in the mouth. I don't know. Put it in the mouth. A Cookie Monster's mouth. So this little boy gets up there. First toss, throws it directly into this woman's vagina. Like the heavyset coworker that's telling the other guy to chill with the short haircut, not proclaiming to know what her orientation is or sexuality or anything like that. I'm not going to make any kind of assumptions there, but she got it right in the cooch. Frisbee in the cooch. So, but she eventually said, well, luckily I had my fanny pack to block it. And I was like, that tracks. Wow. Yes, that makes sense. And so we got a good laugh out of that. And then the kid next throw in the mouth. So I guess he got a bigger prize. His sister goes up, tosses it, and comes close, but doesn't get it in. And then this Asian mother, I know I'm throwing Asian around a lot. And I know coming out of my mouth, it sounds like really derogatory, but I feel like it helps paint the picture. If it helps, the guy in the Yankees hat was a black dude. The voluptuous, curvy coworker with the short hair was white. I don't know if that helps to contextualize things. Are they important details? Probably not. But she comes up and she just is like kind of shuffling in front of us. Like we've been waiting behind this brother and sister duo. And then I can kind of see her kind of wandering and shuffling over and being like, oh, look. And she has her kid with her boy, I think. And then she just kind of like, I don't want to say weasel, but she just like maneuvers her way into right, like as the girl's leaving, she pops in front of us. And so the guy, the rulebook guy, he's all over that shit. He's like, no, you can't cut. There's a line. And this lady, English maybe a second language, I guess that like has to be the case because he's speaking clear English. Like I understand him. I think everyone in the vicinity understands him. And this woman's like, yeah. And just keeps like standing in front of us and cutting us and like gesturing for the Frisbees. And you're like, well, you're saying yes, but I don't think you're fully comprehending what's going on here. There's a line. And to be honest, I couldn't care less. Like if they need to go, if they want to go, if they got like, they're on a schedule and they need to get going, like, hey, we don't have any time to burn. I'd have been like, yeah, fine. It's okay. Like, I don't mind. But the rule guy was not having it. And eventually his coworker was like, all right, there's a line. You have to move the back. So Bree got 6 tosses. My daughter got 6 tosses, over 6. But she did come close. She did hit the board, which wasn't too big. I want to say half the time, just off by like a foot or less. So she still got to pick out of they have a little plastic bin with all kinds of tchotchkes and whatnots, little trinkets and stuff for the kids, no matter if they get it in or not, which is cool. And so my daughter, in typical, like I assume she inherited this trait from me, where it's like she can't decide, or she's like really gonna feel things out because the woman's like, close your eyes and feel around. And so my daughter's like closing her eyes and like she's really feeling everything up, like just groping everything. And then eventually the woman has to start a countdown. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. I was like, Jesus, they run quite the ship over here at the Cookie Monster Frisbee toss. So she ended up picking a pencil, which I don't think kids they probably don't understand. Like, what is this? What do I do with this? You want me to sharpen it like a knife? Like I don't think kids use pencils anymore. It's crayons, markers, and then like iPads. Like they don't. No one writes with a pencil at 5, do they? I don't know. I could be completely off there, but I feel like pencils are just not a thing anymore. And so she was looking at it like, I don't know what to do with this, so I'm just gonna give it to Daddy. And I'm like, all right, cool. From there, we went to the bouncy house. They only allow, I think, 5 or 6 kids in at a time, so we had to wait for the one group to get out before us. Meanwhile, there are kids just like frothing at the mouth to get in this friggin' bouncy house, like climbing up towards the entrance and like making everyone nervous that they're just gonna go in there and go ham. And but yeah, so my daughter waited her turn, got in there, and no major injuries, so that's a win, right? Bounced around, got some pretty good, decent height on these bounces. Like there was some kind of like I don't want to say Nerf, but Nerf-esque type material basketball hoop in the corner, and I think she got rim. No big deal. And she got rim. So we after the bouncy house, puts her shoes back on, and we do a lap. We go down this little vendor row, where they have all the local vendors selling the whatnots and the whatevers. And so, of course, we come to this one tent where there's like there's stuffed animal dogs, stuffed dogs, and books about dogs. And I'm like, well, this is I can sense my wallet getting lighter. So go up to the tent and, get to know the author. The author's like, yeah, I wrote these books. These are my books that I'm selling. We got one book about this dog. The dog's name is Cosmo. He goes to the farm one time. He goes to the forest. He goes to this icy, like Iceland, maybe? I don't know. And I was like, oh, cool. How old's your dog? And she's like, oh, he passed. And I was like, okay, that's probably why you wrote the books. And I was like, sorry about that. Well, why'd you name him Cosmo? And she's like, well, that's the only name that our family could agree on. And I'm thinking to myself, that's the story? Hold up. You're an author. You're a storyteller. That's the story. And part of me thinks that she said that just so we would buy the book to find out why the dog's name is Cosmo. But like, come on, give me more of a teaser than that. That's the only name my family could agree on. Yeah, but why Cosmo? Come on. And I think, isn't there a dog named Cosmo in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the comics that it's like, yeah, I think it was Cosmo, voiced by the girl from Borat 2, right? It's a dog that's a cosmonaut that was shot into space and like can talk or can move things with its mind. Anyway, couldn't even say that. Just that's the only name our family could agree on. So I'm handing over. I Venmo her $25 for the book and the stuffed animal, obviously. And I'm thinking to myself, whew, odds are, I mean, the covers look cool, and I think it's definitely, she got my $25, but like, I can't imagine. We didn't even get to read the book yet. And my daughter has already forgotten that she got the book and the stuffed animal. I was like, just 25 bones. I mean, I know it's not a lot of money, but like, you already forgot about it? It's been less than 24 hours. So we did end up going into the stable where all the cows were getting milked. These are the same cows that after they get milked are going to go have themselves a little bit of a parade. And, I thought it was so cool that they had Rage Against the Machine playing Bulls on Parade in the background. No, they didn't do that. Man, missed the opportunity, right? So we go into the stable, a step into the stable, a step. I am punched in the face with just the worst possible smell you could imagine. Just awful smells. And like no one, I'm like trying very hard not to react like strongly, but I'm like I almost puked. I'm looking around. There's a whole bunch of people there just standing, like watching the cows. I mean, the cows are not doing anything, and they have a machine that milks the cows, and they had like 3 or 4 workers, working each of the cows. All the like dozen cows they must have had or more. And I'm just standing there. I'm struggling to pay attention to what the woman is saying. And Bree's Bree's not reacting either. I'm just like, what? Is this like a weird psychological condition that I have where I think I smell like awful things, but like no one else does? not like color blindness, but like a certain I feel like that is a condition where like you just I don't know, but it was awful. And eventually we didn't last very long in that stable, but eventually my daughter was like, yeah, let's go, let's get out of here. And I was like, okay. And then like just as we're stepping out of the outside, she's like, it smelled bad, and like, but smiling. And I was like, hey, yeah, understatement of the cinch, dude. So we ended up going to the store. Didn't last long in there because it was like, she's asking for everything on sale. I'll have one of each, please. And I'm like, I can't keep spending money at this rate. I can't do it. I know I'm getting child support. Yeah, I know. Sue me. But like, I can't keep up with this pace of just flushing money. So leave the store. And then we go back out to the main part where there's the bouncy house, the face painting, the frisbee toss. And there's like this kind of like obstacle course thing where like you can go either over or under this one crate. And then there's a bunch of tree stumps. So you hop from tree stump to tree stump. You walk along the ladder. I mean, to be honest, that fucking obstacle course was a lawsuit waiting to happen. Like, it did not look safe at all. I mean, it at first blush or glance, you're like, yeah, it's just a little obstacle course. We could go wrong, but there's like tree stumps and the ladder. It's like twisted ankle central. Like I trip, I fall, someone gets pushed, and like, you cut your face open on the stump. I don't know. I like I've said many times before, I have final destination brain. I think death is waiting at every possible corner, right around the corner. So she got involved in that, and then she ended up spotting her friend from school that she likes a lot. And so as soon as those two got together, it was game over. It was just like, nope, any kind of authority or control you thought you had, which, I had things pretty much under wraps, right? Like everything was kosher. Like as soon as they met up, it was just like, parents don't exist. We're free to roam wild like a pack of wolves. So, that's when the kind of not bad behavior, but like we're going to act out and, not exactly behave like an angel. Two wild, shiftless hobos. And they dominated the obstacle course. And then I felt bad because there was another girl who I think goes to their school. But the two girls, my daughter and her friend, paid this girl no mind and were like cutting. Like, do I intervene? Do I step in and say, hey, that's not right to cut? Like, I don't know. I probably should have. I saw it happening. The friend's mother was kind of like socializing and chatting up her friend. So I'm just standing there and I'm like, I guess I don't know if I should let this slide, let this happen. I was like, maybe it's a one-time thing. And then they just kept cutting and kept cutting and kept cutting. And this girl kept getting so frustrated and angry. And like, you could see just the steam coming out of her ears. And she's yelling at this point, stop cutting me. She's going up to the worker who's like kind of supervising things. And is like, these two girls keep cutting me. Like, and she knows them. Like she's saying, their names. And like, they keep cutting me. And so the worker's like, I'm not even getting paid for this. I'm a volunteer. Like, I don't think I should be parenting. And then she ends up going up to the friend's mother and is like, your daughter's cutting me. Your daughter and Brielle they keep cutting me. And the mother's like, I don't give a shit. But I felt bad for her. Where's the justice? Life's not fair. There's a big lesson this weekend. That girl learned it, and then my daughter learned it on Sunday. But at the cow parade at Cherry Grove Farms, I was able to talk to the friend's mother for a little bit, but I could tell it's just like, doesn't want any part of this. And I get it, Another mom showed up with her two kids, along with the grandmother, the mom's mom. And, so they had their hands full. And I'm the only dude. And you could tell, like, this is, I don't know if this is universal across the board. You shouldn't paint in such broad strokes, Neil. Yeah, I get it. The difference between moms and dads, the moms are constantly, like, yelling at their kids' names, like, so-and-so, 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 so-and-so. And, like, literally, I don't do that because I just don't think it's going to get anything done. Not knocking their approach. Everyone has their own system and the way they do things. You know, you do you. But for me, I just can't see myself doing that. Just constantly like, so it's like basically if shit's gone sideways or things are going wrong, I calmly approach my daughter. I lean into her ear and I whisper something to the effect of, well, I mean, this is just how it goes. Like the only leverage and chip that I have in these little admonishments? No, dude, that's not a word. So the only leverage I have is like, do you want to sleep in daddy's bed? Stop what you're doing. If you don't stop what you're doing, you can't sleep in daddy's bed. The thing is, she always sleeps in my bed Saturday night. So it works for that week, every day leading up to Saturday night. But then once Saturday night comes and goes, Sunday, it's like, what the fuck are you going to do, huh? I already slept in your bed, old man. Like there's no, there's nothing. I have nothing. There's nothing to bargain with. So I need to come up with something else, some kind of reward to withhold. I don't know. It's the icky part of parenting. So there were a bunch of food trucks. So the kids ended up getting hungry. And so we went to the food trucks. I think there was 3 food trucks. One was from Nomad's Pizza, which we've had their pizza before. It's a chef's kiss. Very nice. And then there was a chili station. I'm like, ain't no one in this group getting chili except me. And, I don't think I should stray too far. And there was a third one, jam and crepes. And I'm like, crepes, dude? Those little thin pancakes? I was like, crepes? I don't know if I'm in the mood for crepes right now. Is that going to really fill me up? Is that really like a lunch or afternoon snack? It feels more like a dessert thing or a breakfast thing. Couldn't be more wrong. Jam and crepes is legit awesome. Never had it before. And now I had what I had, and that's all I want from now till I die. So good. They had like a bunch of menu items. You know what? Maybe I should look it up just to give you a friggin' sense of what we're dealing with here. Apparently it's on Nassau Street. Oh, I'm going to order from this place every week. There's like 2 places on Nassau Street that I really love. Nassau Street, it's like the main street right by Princeton University, by the campus there. Taqueria, which I don't get diarrhea from Taqueria. Very like notch above Chipotle. I'd put it up against pretty much almost any other Mexican restaurant. It's got like the tortillas, the way they make them and cook them or whatever feel very similar to Taco Bell, but a little higher quality. Jam and crepes. I think I've seen this while scrolling Uber Eats endlessly. And I've been like, I don't want crepes, dude, even though crepes are awesome. So where's their menu? Come on, brah. So let's take a look at their menu. So they have the sweet crepes, savory crepes, rise and shine crepes, vegetarian crepes, and forever young crepes. So I did not go sweet crepe, I did not go rise and shine crepe, although a lot of that looks really freaking good. I went with, there was a couple that were in consideration. One was everything's better with bacon and jam, thick cut smokehouse bacon, seasonal micro batch jam of the day, fresh baby aruges, and some brie. They put a little bit of my daughter in there. All right, good for you. And there's a banh mi crepe. What? Chicken BLT crepe, smoky apple and brie crepe, ham and cheese melty, jam and turkey club. All those sound awesome. Smoked turkey Reuben crepe. All those sound awesome. I had to go with the spiky. I had to go with the porcupine. I had to go with the spicy chicken cheesesteak. Oven roasted chicken seasoned with fresh Italian herbs, sauteed onions and bell peppers, sharp aged provolone, and our signature house spicy aioli. And that is the friggin' cherry on top. That's what legitimately made it like next level, was this spicy aioli. Interesting way to eat it. They basically have like this paper cone type situation. They then fold the crepe kind of like a cone, right? Triangle shaped. And then you kind of just like peel down the paper and the tin foil, and you just kind of, you can go for it right there. You can pull it out a little bit, but so you don't burn your hands, or I guess get your hands dirty. They have the little paper cone type vessel. So I fucking wolfed that down. I did it. I took a knee because I was trying to help Bree, my daughter, out with hers. I got her a pizza melty because I was like, it's pizza. It's basically pizza. It's just doesn't have the normal crust, which the kids could not wrap their heads around. They were just like, what? This isn't pizza. And of course, I gave it to my daughter and I was like, just have a bite. You might like it. And what I appreciate is she is starting to take risks and chances with stuff she's never had before, which I love. And so she took a bite and she's like, I like it. I was like, that's great. And then literally like 2 minutes later, she dropped it on the ground. It's just like covered in grass. And I'm like, motherfucker, that cost $12. Like, I'm not buying you another one. I'm sorry. And I had already wolfed mine down. And so I tried to like brush off the, hey, there have been a lot of rock bottoms in my life. So I don't even think I can't even call this rock bottom or a low light. Too many low lights for this to even register. So I tried to wipe off the dirt and the grass and be like, and eat it. And she, to her credit, she tried it and was like, nope, I can taste the grass. I can taste the ground. So I was like, all right, well, we're gonna have to wait till we get home. So that was jamming crepes. Couldn't go on the hayride. The hayride line was way too long. I think they stopped at like 3:30 or something like that, kind of early. And then here comes the parade, cow parade. They open the stable doors, barn doors. The cows just slowly walk in a group. I don't want to say single file, past the fences where there's like, 2-3 people deep. It was crazy how much attention this shit got for what it really was, just cows walking from one place to another. But that's just like, if we're gonna say that's a parade, I will be very liberal about what I call parades now. I'm just gonna like say, oh yeah, so I was parading down Fifth Avenue. No big deal. I had a parade. It's like I just walked down Fifth Avenue. So yeah, what is cool, I guess, is that they do put leis, like, a Hawaiian lei, traditional lei, around some of their necks, not all their necks. I thought, it would have been cool if they did all their necks, but some of their necks, they do that. And then they have a dude on the violin and I think an accordion player behind them providing the soundtrack. So, it's a fun little, it lasted not that long, 5 minutes. There was probably a dozen cows and it took them like 5 minutes to walk by. And so then they just walk to an open field and you can just stand there and watch them graze and whatnot. So all in all, I would recommend it. I had a friend that went and her daughter's 10 and she was like, we were done in like an hour, or I think they lasted 2 hours. And I remember there was a point where I was like, I don't know if we're going to make it past an hour. Like I looked down at my watch and I'm like, please be 2 hours. Please be 2 hours. And it was like barely an hour. And I'm like, I don't know what else to do at this place. Like, I think and then that's when she ran into her friend. And I was like, all right, that just bought me another hour. So at least I can say, we spent a decent amount of time there. So yeah, I mean, Cherry Grove Farms. Yeah. Terhune Farms, probably a little bit better. Got a lot more dew for the kiddos. But Cherry Grove Farms, not bad. Cow Parade, you got me. I'm hooked. It's cool. I got a couple videos out of that. So came home and I was like, all right, that's enough activities for the day. Feel like you've done enough, right? Let's throw on the idiot box, the boob tube, and zone out and drool all over ourselves. So she was like, I want to watch Stephen Maggie. I was like, all right, fine. So I put on like an 84-minute compilation of Steve and Maggie. One video, compilation video, 84 minutes. Now, typically, this is a YouTuber, right? British dude. It's basically he sings a song and it's legitimately like Cocomelon. I feel like they're singing the same song over and over. They're just changing the lyrics. And so it was 84 minutes of that. If you figure each song is like each skit, right? Normally an episode by itself would be like 5 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. I can't imagine it being 9 minutes or anything longer than that. In the 6 minute range, 84 minutes. So yeah, there was probably like almost 14 different episodes, mini episodes in this compilation video. And I was like, all right, that's got to be enough Steve and Maggie for the night. And she was like, she wanted more. And I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm sorry. That's one of those shows where like the dude repeats himself 3 times every sentence. So we ended up turning on Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. I guess a decent movie. Interesting premise. I fell asleep. I think I was just so exhausted that I fell asleep for a good amount of time. And I was doing a massive amounts of laundry yet again. It feels like every weekend I'm doing 10 loads of laundry. Probably because the washing machine's too damn small and the dryer doesn't work. But so I fell asleep, which means I didn't get to take out the sheets from the washer and put them in the dryer. So we couldn't go with sheets in the bed. It's going to be 90 minutes to dry. So I had to break out the backup sheets. Yes. Which I always thought were not going to be as good as the sheets that I currently have. The sheets that my primary sheets, my starting sheets, are like hotel 5-star hotel quality. At least that's what it said on the tag. I don't know. Could be wrong. But I had to use the backup sheets. And so she slept in my bed. Tried to watch Captain Underpants and fell asleep as well. So we're probably done entered Slumberville at like 10:30ish. And you're like, damn, that's late. But guess what? We had a little daylight savings time going kaput. It ended. Not like moving forward, just for this year. Daylight savings time ended. There are a lot of people that are super aggro and pissed about daylight savings time. And I just don't get it. And I don't give a fuck. I don't understand how people can be that upset about an hour. You either lose an hour of light or you get an hour of light. An hour is 60 minutes. Find something to do for 60 minutes. Wake up an hour earlier. And like we're at the point where, okay, maybe back before iPhones or back before everything was digital and they automatically fucking update, then I would see a real cause for concern and some real anger, because I'm assuming the percentages of people that were late to work or late to school or late in general or showing up an hour earlier. I'm assuming the percentages were way higher before iPhones and the like. So now that we have the iPhones and the like, it's like I don't know that there's not really a whole lot of updating to do. So I mean, that being said, if they pass it and it's like they kill it and it's no longer exists, okay, that's fine too. I don't know. Time is a social construct. Doesn't exist. So yeah, we ended up sleeping for a good 10 to 11 hours. Like we woke up at 9, which is really 10. So it was almost 12 hours. If you figure you hibernate like that, you should wake up feeling refreshed and ready to go. And it took me a good 3 or 4 hours for me to feel like a normal human. I don't know what the hell is going on. I didn't really take any medication that would make me feel otherwise. I just could not care and could not move. And it was like I could very easily just go back to sleep right now. And the best part of that whole situation is me looking up, hey, how much is too much sleep? Oh, okay. 10, 11, 12 hours. Great to know. And then, is sleeping 10, 11 hours bad for you? Which is, that's a fun little wormhole, rabbit hole to go down. Oh, it could be you're just really tired. It could be depression. Check. Or it could be an underlying heart disease. I'm like, oh my God, fuck you, Google, in your search results. So yeah, I was just sluggish. And of course, my daughter like sprung awake, eyes popped open, and was just like going 1,000 miles per hour from the get-go. And I was just like, you have to relax. You have to chill out. I don't have the energy right now. And she was just like nonstop. I'm like trying to get her breakfast. She's like, I don't like breakfast. I don't want to eat breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. I was like, you need to get some breakfast in you. Okay. You've now gone 12 hours without food. I'm pretty sure that's going to make you feel a certain way. So I was like, I'll get you a cereal bar and yogurt, which has been her standard breakfast for a long time now. And she's like, no, I don't like cereal bars anymore. I don't want to eat any more cereal bars. So I was like, well, okay, I bought a bunch and I told you that we need to go. Let's just get through these and then you'll never have to see them again. She's like, no. And I was like, all right, well, what do you want? And she's like, cereal. I'm like, so you don't want a cereal bar, but you want cereal. Okay, good. Got it. Got to figure that out. So I've had this plastic container of Cheerios forever. I mean, I've been here 2 years in this apartment. I've had that plastic tub of Cheerios, and I'm pretty sure we've had the Cheerios from the previous apartment in fucking Fairfield. So I'm like, I don't have the box anymore, so I can't really see what the expiration date is. Not that I would think that cereal goes sour or spoils, but mold? I don't know. Algae? So I'm like, I grab the cereal, because I'm all tired, and I'm like, I'm not operating at full efficiency. I'm like, you don't even like cereal. And then somehow I had gripped the top and caught the top, and the top flew off, and the Cheerios went everywhere. So I think in the past I would have been a lot more upset, and I would have probably used some profanity and got loud. And I'm proud of myself, because I don't know what it is about spills, but and I think I've already passed this on to my daughter, which is, it's one of many regrets. But when a spill happens, getting upset, and it's just it's not a big deal. It is not a big deal. And so I spilled the Cheerios, and she kind of tensed up. She's like, and so I'm like, I'm a little frustrated. And so I go get them, but I don't overreact, and go and get the broom, the dust broom, the pan, clean it up. And I'm like, all right, it's not so bad, and there's still some left, enough for her to have a bowl. And so I'm throwing it out, and I see there's some under the chair. Now, I have too many chairs. Why I have so many chairs? I was like, I might have a party. Oh, yeah. No, there have been 0 parties. I've had 0 people over at this fucking apartment, other than my uncle and my cousin, who came day 1 to drop off some banana bread and be like, hey, and here's some other things. I have had 0 visitors. There's just no one else coming into my apartment except me, her, property manager, maintenance staff. So too many chairs. So this one chair I just have, it's just in a weird spot, but it's a good spot because it doesn't take up a lot of room, and it's it's just dead space anyway. So it's next to the kitchen counter, in between the kitchen counter and the fucking pantry cupboard, whatever that I have my coffee cups and whatnot. And so it's in between there, and I see there's some Cheerios under the chair. So I go to pull out the chair, not knowing that I had, for whatever reason, plugged in the coffee machine, and the cord, I guess, was over the chair. So I pull the chair out, pulls the coffee machine out of the outlet, and sends the coffee machine flying onto the floor, breaking the water reservoir. And now I'm officially pissed. So it's and now I'm going to overreact. So I kind of blew my stack a little bit, but I was like, all right. So I know that I'm about to go nuclear. So I hightail it to the bathroom, and I just close the door, and I sit on the toilet, and I count to 60. I literally, like my daughter, have to take a time out just to get back to level, to neutral. So yeah, I needed a timeout. But for whatever reason, I woke up that day, my daughter woke up and chose chaos. I woke up and chose unnecessarily weird order. I was like, today, I know that I don't have the energy to go anywhere, so it's going to be an indoor day for us. Mainly because one, like I said, I'm just I can't move. I'm very low energy, low E. And 2, it's NFL football Sunday, and I like to watch football, and I know it's not important. Sports are not important. It's a game, a children's game played by adults. I understand. And I don't know why I feel the need to be able to see it, and why it upsets me when I can't. There has to be a name for it. But I'm like, listen, I don't get to watch college football Saturday anymore when I have you. I got to watch NFL football on Sunday. So, and of course, there was a 9:30 a.m. game in Germany, Chiefs Dolphins, which I was like, normally I don't think I would give a shit for a lot of these overseas games, international games, London games, whatever, because they just suck. But I was like, Chiefs Dolphins. It's 2 of the best teams in the NFL. It's going to be a great game. I got to watch it. So watch that. And the Giants don't play it at 4:25. So I'm literally banking on me being able to convince my daughter to chillax from 9:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night. Just a cool, casual 10 hours of football. So, and she got, and rightfully so, she got pretty pissed. She's upset about that. She's like, a lot of whining, a lot of complaining, a lot of like, why do you get to watch football all day? Daddy, like literally, we weren't even at halftime of the Chiefs-Dolphins game, the first game of the day. And she was like, how much, all right, that's enough. No more football. You can't watch any more football. You've been watching football for so long, for forever. And I'm like, we're not even at freaking halftime. We got about 8 more hours of this. So, whatever reason, I told myself, I'm not going to let her watch what she wants on TV. She's going to have to watch football if she wants to watch any TV. And 2, I was like, I'm not going to let her watch the iPad, and I'm not going to let her watch the TV in my room. I'm going to try and get her to either watch football with me, which I would love, or she can play by herself. That's kind of, I'm trying not to give in to, even though I do have limited time with her and I should cherish every goddamn second I have her. And I do. And I do feel like cramming a lot of stuff into the, whether it be the 48 hours or the 5 days. Like I do try and cram, way too much, which, case in point, I carved pumpkins. So we did unicorn slime, which I'm not a huge fan of because it doesn't take up a ton of time and it never looks like the picture. And she points it out like right away. She's like, that doesn't look like the picture. This doesn't look like the picture. And I'm just like, you know what? I hate to burst your bub, brah. But like, you're never going to get what that picture is. They had a professional stylist, like a whole friggin' cast and crew to make sure that thing looked like it did in that picture. So we do the unicorn slime. And then eventually I was like, all right, I started to get my energy, got it like not even my second wind, my first wind, and decided to carve pumpkins because I had the pumpkins, got the pumpkins 2 weeks ago before Halloween, like a full 9 days before Halloween. But I again tried to cram too much shit into the weekend, and so didn't get around to carving the pumpkins that weekend. So I didn't get to, and then I got deathly sick, and I was like, I don't know if I should be carving pumpkins with what's going on right now. I'm about to pass out, and so I was like, all right, let's just carve pumpkins. Halloween is a state of mind. Like I said, time doesn't exist. Daylight savings time is a hoax, and so like, who cares if it's October 31st? Or November 5th. So I like to say we carved pumpkins, but it was actually me carving pumpkins while she kind of watched and chimed in every once in a while. It's tough because it's like a lot of the cutting she can't do. A, because it's like dangerous, or B, it's because it's fucking hard for me. And I'm not saying I'm like, any kind of Adonis over here, but you need a little bit of elbow grease that only grown-ups have. So she kind of like would check in every once in a while to tell me how fucking awful and wrong mine looked. She's like, that looks nothing like the picture. And I'm like, I'm sensing a theme here. So ended up carving pumpkins. I didn't do Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2 logo. I ended up doing the Ghostbusters 1 logo, mostly because the Ghostbusters 2 logo looks way too hard. Way too hard, because Ghostbusters 1 logo, it's kind of like you have the circle with the ghost inside with the red stripe mark across it, and like so it's feels easier. It's just like, okay, he's got the head, there's a little bit of the body, and his 2 arms are sticking out. The Ghostbusters 2 logo, he's like stepping through the no ghosts symbol logo, whatever. So there's a leg out there. And he's pushing with his one arm. So there's like an elbow I got to account for. And then he's sticking out his arm with the peace sign. And I was just like, no, I cannot go through that. So I was just looking for whatever the easiest. She wanted Slimer. And by God, I wish I had the skill and the ability to give her a Slimer, because I think she would have loved that. But again, there's a lot of fucking Slimer's got like 15 chins. Have you noticed? So I can't do all that kind of blubber and all those flabs. So I was like, all right, let's go with Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So did I do the full body? Absolutely not. I couldn't do that. So I ended up doing basically just the head. So, and I feel like that's all you really need. People get it. You know, it's not like I put his fucking kneecap, put his head, his face. People instantly recognizable. So, yeah, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And then I had to go, and then I didn't have candles, which I was like, oh, God damn it. And so I decided it was getting close to game time for the Giants Raiders at 4:25. And I was like, I wanted to go because part of my favorite part about carving pumpkins. Well, there's a lot of favorite parts of carving pumpkins. One of my favorite activities, even though it's like can suck sometimes in the midst of things. Taking out the guts and removing the seeds from the guts, roasting the seeds in the oven, and then making pumpkin pie. So turning the guts or the innards into pumpkin puree and making a pumpkin pie. I don't think I've ever officially accomplished the latter of the guts as a pumpkin pie. I think I always ended up just caving in and getting a can of pumpkin puree, right? So I don't have to make my own. And I don't have a mixing bowl because I broke that. It's like, I just keep breaking glass in this goddamn place. It's cursed. So I did remove the guts, and I did end up roasting them because I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll give it a whirl whenever I have time, which by the time I do have time to get to that, they won't be good anymore. So, but it's like the thought that counts. The seeds, though, roasting the seeds, I mean, these are 2 giant ass pumpkins. An unfathomable amount of seeds that I was able to get out of this and roast. So I was roasting the seeds, keeping an eye on the guts roasting in the oven, you know, basically juggling those. And then and my daughter's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, it feels like you're always hungry, but you're not eating. So I feed her a bunch of stuff, and eventually she just kept asking, what else you got? Literally, it was either what are we doing next or what else you got in terms of eating? What are the food you got? And I would list the same things over and over. We have chicken nuggets, we have pizza, we have mac and cheese. And so finally she opted for mac and cheese. So the oven is working at double time right now. It's like I got the mac and cheese going on the stove, and I have the guts on the top rack, the pumpkin pie on the bottom rack, or the roasted seeds in the bottom rack. But then I made the pumpkin pie. So I ended up getting all this shit delivered, essentially. Like I can't go to the store, be late, and then try and play catch up in terms of the Giants game. I hate doing that. So I just decided Uber Eats it. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll order it all. It'll be from like Target, and I'll order the candles. I'll get the pumpkin pie ingredients. Bing, bang, boom. We're cooking. Of course, the shopper can't find the candles. So I'm like out on the candles yet again, which sucks because it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to get candles today, which means I'm not going to be able to light them up, which means I'm not going to be able to show the world my masterpiece, my work of art, especially my daughter, who I mean, that was the main goal. Was like, I want her to go, ooh, or something, get some kind of reaction instead of like, it doesn't look like the picture. So, yeah, my hair was on fire for a good hour or so, 2 hours. It was just like trying to get all this done, but ended up getting it done. Pretty proud. Not proud of how I acted in the moment, but proud I was able to actually check it off the list because it was on my list. So then, you know, for the candles, it's like the next, I think Monday, you know, I got a little break in the action from work, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a little walk because I got like kind of a scary email from the senior vice president. No big deal. So I was like, all right, I got to take a walk, get some air. And I was like, I have a gift card for Starbucks and I need to get candles. And Trader Joe's has candles. I Googled it. They have them. So I'm going to walk down the road to Trader Joe's, get the candles, and then go to Starbucks and use my gift card to get some free drink because I can't have coffee because the water reservoir is broken. So I'll cave in and I'll get Starbucks, something that I traditionally never voluntarily go to. It's usually someone drags me there. Someone else wants to go, and I'm like, I'll go with you, but I'm not going to like it. Why don't I like Starbucks? It's the naming conventions and the top 5 reasons, basically. The naming conventions, the cult-like community that is going on there, where it's just like nothing but Starbucks exists in your world. Interesting world. Like I have the app and I have rewards and I have this and that's I have my order and I can't wait for this release. Like it's a fucking album drop or like, you know, trying to cop the new Jordans, the new seasonal Frappuccinos here. So yeah, Starbucks is not like, I prefer Dunkin'. It's just like very blue collar, just like you go in, you get your shit and you leave. American runs in Dunkin'. I'm not sure if you're familiar. So Ended up walking to Trader Joe's to get the candles. And I've been to Trader Joe's so many times. I walked up and down every single friggin' aisle in this place twice looking for candles. And so eventually I was like, all right, I guess I got to ask a worker. So I approached the workers. I'm like, hey, do you guys sell candles? Do you have any candles here? And the guy's like, yeah, we should have a bunch of candles. We have the little tins. We have this, blah, blah. He's like going through their whole inventory. And he's like, I'll take you to them. And I'm like, all right. So we go to the aisle. And of course, it's like, there's no way I would have been able to see this. It's obscured, one. And two, there's just 2 candles. There's not 2 shelves of candles. There are literally 2 shandals. 2 sandals that you can wear while drinking shandies. Yeah, 2 candles. 2 huge candles. I guess they call them pillar candles. These things are girthy, thick. So I was like, he was like, oh, well, I mean, if you give me your number or your email, or I can notify you when other candles come in. I was just like, he's like, can you wait? And I'm like, not really. I'm just going to take these 2 fucking beefy unit candles. So end up, and they don't have bags. Obviously, no grocery stores have bags anymore. And I didn't want to buy like a forever bag. I have like 1,000 of those in the trunk of my car. So I was like, no, I guess I'm just going to have to pocket these. So I'm wearing a coat, and I stick a candle in each coat pocket. And it looks like I have the world's largest love handles. I'll just put that way. Walk to Starbucks, go in, and I'm like, I forget how to order this fucking shit. I can't just say large coffee. I have to say like, 20 pike roast, medium roast, pike place. You know, I had to look up like blonde roast. What the fuck is it? Make you stupid? Like what is it, more fun? What is a blonde roast? I had to look that up. And then they fortunately just have a dark roast. And I was like, all right, knowing where my head's at and how I can get a little wired and make poor decisions, I'm going to go with the medium roast because I feel like the blonde roast will not hit the way I want it to, and then I get the venti, which I think is the largest size, 20 ounces. Did I use my gift card? Nope. Completely forgot. And I also tipped. So it's like, defeated the purpose, but was able to get the candles all nice and fired up inside the pumpkins, got snapped off the pick, and I posted that shit. I don't give a care. I don't care. Long hair, dude. Long hair don't care. I was like, no, this is Halloween. This is Halloween. I need to have the pumpkin carving. I need to have the costume, all that good shit. So yeah, sue me. And then I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I did get to have a nice rendezvous, an appointment, if you will, with a person whom I like at Jasper Stone Italian Steakhouse. This is, I guess, a new restaurant that opened in the Monroe Township area, Nueva Jersey. It's about a 35-minute drive from me. Got there. First of all, made the wrong turn because I was like, it's like, Waze was like, turn right now. And so I turned right too quickly. And it was like, it's part of like not a mall, I guess a strip mall, not a strip mall, but a center, I guess a mall, mini mall. I don't know. Shopping center, part of a shopping center, I'd say. And you can't, there's no sign, like there's a sign, but like they did this thing where it's a J and an S, but it's a brown circle. And then the letters are also like the same color. So it's like a very subtle, almost like imprint. And I get it. You're trying to be fancy. I get it. But when you're trying to find the fucking place for the first time, it makes it a little difficult to understand, like, what is that? Because it doesn't look like your traditional Italian steakhouse, you know? There's not a huge like bull on the sign. So I made the wrong turn, circle back around, and I turn in, and there are 0 parking spots. Not a huge parking lot, and there are 0 parking spots. There was a Ferrari and a handicap spot. Thought that was pretty cool. And then I make a turn, and there's like a Pods. I guess Pods is like a storage unit type thing. There was a huge ass trailer that was open, just hanging out in the parking lot. And then the only 3 spots available were for Puff City Smoke Shop. I was like, All right. So then I go across the street. There's a parking lot where the Milk and Stuff is. Literally, the store is called Milk and Stuff. And there were a bunch of running cars that are running. So I was like, okay, we either have a robbery in progress, there might be a drug deal situation, or someone's getting a handy blowy combo package. So I park over there. I go into the restaurant, across the street, go in the restaurant. And I ask the hostess, I'm like, hey, is it okay if I park across the street? And she's like, at the Milk and Stuff? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I guess, I think so. And I was like, where should I have parked? There are no spots in this lot. And she's like, oh, the daycare center. And I'm like, oh, right. The daycare center. What am I supposed to do with that? Like, I didn't see any freaking daycare center. And even if I did, I would know to park there. I'm not from here, but okay, interesting. And then, my date, there, I said it, my date showed up and I was like, where'd you park? And she's like, oh, at my accountant's office. And I'm like, okay, like everyone's saying these things as if they're like, it's like, duh. And I'm like, I don't know any of this shit. So the hostess asked us, hey, what are you guys celebrating? And I said, oh, it's actually our third date. And she goes, it's actually our fourth date. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll be eating my foot tonight. So tasty. And I did catch a little heat for that, not a lot, which I deserve it. But for whatever reason, I viewed the one weekend we had 2 dates. So I kind of merged those together into one date. It was just one long date. And then we took like an 8-hour break to sleep. They were 2 different places, 2 different locations. But for whatever reason, it registered as one date. Even though I think if you add up the total hours of our dates, it would be the equivalent of like 8 to 10, 25 dates. I'm pretty sure. So I thought it was cool when the hostess said, you guys look great together. It's like, whoa, I didn't pay her to say that. Like, why did she say that? It was just like, all right, cool. Very cool. And I didn't mention this in the previous one of the previous pods, but the Central Jersey Beer Fest, that was our first date. And when we went to Nottingham Tavern, I had 2 to 3 different people refer to her as my wife. So I was like, maybe this thing's got legs. She knows how to use them. So, yeah, I'm in a very good mood, and it's largely because of that. And for those of you who are new listeners or probably don't know me as well as some others, people that know me best know that my good moods are like Halley's Comet. I think they come once every 76, 86 years. It's a rare occurrence, a rare state to be in, and I am in a good mood. You didn't pick up on that. She brought the wine, which was very nice. It's a BYOB. The wine was fantastic. We had 12 oysters to start. Y'all know why. Okay? Y'all know why about those oysters. You know about them oysters, right, kid? You know about them oysters, what they do to you. So 12 oysters. And then the biggest wedge salad you've ever laid eyes on. I don't know where they got this head of lettuce. It wasn't a full head of lettuce. Maybe it was a full head of lettuce. Oh, chopped into fourths? Yeah, people think I'm smart. It's crazy. But huge wedge salad with candied bacon instead of chopped up bacon like you normally see. Oh, fuck. This candied bacon, am I willing to say it? Yeah, best bacon I've ever had. I was trying to think about when I went to Italy and we had that thick ass Italian bacon. And I was like, that was probably the best bacon I've ever had. This blows out of the water. Candy bacon. Delicious. And then I had the Wagyu. By the way, this waitress has the balls to tell us the specials. And it's like, then we have a tomahawk. That's going to be $295 with a straight face. With a straight face said, tomahawk is $295. And here's our filet mignon. Was it filet mignon? It was 32 ounce. I don't think it was a porterhouse. It's 32 ounce something. And that's going to be $165. I'm just like, can we get below triple digits for this cut of meat that I'm going to shit out in 18 hours? Can we just drop it a little bit? So I ended up ordering the Wagyu short rib, which was awesome, $62. And it had sliced broccoli that I thought were Brussels sprouts. in some kind of like maybe nutty sauce. That was awesome. And then broccoli rabe, which I thought was spinach. So I was 0 for 2 on guessing the vegetables, which really impressed my date. I got to tell you, boy, she was fanning herself. She had the vapors. She did have the gnocchi, which was in a cream sauce, some kind of brown sauce. And I had a bite. It's already a lot of food. And I was like, I just need to have a bite to show that I'm down to clown. And so I had a bite, and it was great. But it was like, I got to get through this short rib after devouring an enormous wedge salad and oysters. And so I did. It was crazy, though. I think this place set the record for the most times asking me if I'm done yet. And granted, I did take my sweet ass time. I took a very long time to take down that short rib, and it wasn't like a ton of short rib. It's just like you get into conversation. What do you want me to do? So, like literally our waitress comes over. Are you finished? No, still working on it. A bus girl comes over. Can I take that plate for you? Are you finished? No, sorry, still working on it. The owner of the restaurant comes over, and I didn't even think it was the owner. I just thought it was some random dude because he was like wearing a hooded sweatshirt that had stains on it and like jeans. And I was like, "Oh, you're the owner. Oh, okay, cool." And so he introduced himself and asked us how we're doing and said where you're from, and I made some conversation, small talk for a little bit, and then he said, "Hey, are you done with that? Do you need anything? Are you done with that?" And I was like, "I'm still working on it." I was like, I said to my date, I think I need like a work in progress or like under construction sign, just something letting people know, no, this is still ongoing event. And eventually I was like, yeah, I just went through it. But I'm going to say 6 times I was asked if I was done yet, if I'm finished. Which they did have like a 90-minute time limit that we just completely ignored. Like we met up at 7. I think we were done at like almost 10. So luckily they weren't really strict with that policy or that rule. And we split New York cheesecake. So it's good to know that she's on board with the cheesecake, because that's like, how can you not be on board with that shit, dude? And then we leave, and I walked her to the car, and that was it. Wink, 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 wink. And then I literally floated home on a cloud of joy. So yeah, very happy. And it couldn't come at a better time. My birthday week, dude, amazing. So yeah, very excited about that. And then this weekend, I'm going to Rhode Island. Is it Rhode Island? No, actually, it's not technically Rhode Island. Is it? No, it is Rhode Island. It's on the border of Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Going to see my friend from growing up, so I took the day off. Personal day Friday, which I have one left. So hopefully no more emergencies. Hopefully. Rest of 2023, cross your fingers. I'm going to go up there and get wild. Let loose for my birthday weekend. So couldn't have asked for a better birthday week.